And good morning. This is People Power with Priscilla. And you are in for a treat today because I am learning a new job, how to engineer my own show. So I'm going to be talking, and I would hope that you all will call in and talk to me. The number is 617-282-0685, 617-282-7794. 617-265-2679. Again, People Power with Priscilla. We are the people and we have the power. And so I'm here today and we're going to talk about a couple of different things. There's a lot going on in Boston and we need to talk about it. So I don't have a guest this morning, and so I'm learning. I'm glad because I can learn how to run this my broadcast. I am so excited to be on this side of the table. So good morning, Boston. Good morning, New York. Good morning, Georgia. So there's some things going on. First of all, we know that there is a race in Georgia with the Reverend Warnock and Herschel Walker, and they are running for the Senate. And we up here in Boston, we have to help them because we have to help Reverend Warnock because we know that Herschel Walker was actually moved from Florida to Georgia to run against this man. So we have people who are headed down to Georgia to do some phone banking. Tonight there is a meeting, and they are going to be, they're asking for Bostonians, us folks up here, if we have family or friends in Atlanta, to call them and tell them, vote, not Atlanta, Georgia, tell them to vote for Reverend Warnock. And there's also going to be a phone bank starting tomorrow with the community. So from what I understand, Senator Diane Wilkerson is leading it, and I am excited about some of the things that we're getting ready to do. So I guess I can announce it now. There is another organization. We are trying to bring back the Black Political Task Force that was formed back in the 60s. However, we are calling it the Block, Black Local Organizing Committee. Go to Facebook and like us. If you're interested in being a part of this this group of leaders, you can call me at 617-515-6908, or you can call right now, 617-282-0685, and we can talk about it. I'm excited. We have merged, so I have another announcement. I have a consulting firm. It's called Flint and Associates, and we have partnered with the Nation of Islam and the Nubian Square Foundation, and we meet every Thursday at the DeWitt Center from 6 to 8. And I tell you, these meetings have been great. Last week, we had a lesson from Professor Jermadari Kamari and Professor Tony Vandermeer. And they gave us the history of how the Black Political Task Force was formed. And if you are interested in getting that information, I would happy send you the link. So call in, folks. Let's talk. So we know that there's a lot of things going on in our community. I mean, it's just so much we don't even know where to begin. But I'm excited about this new local organizing committee because we have veterans working with us. We have Sister Paula Kors and her sister Marie Furman. We have my sister Sarah Flint. We have Jamada Henry Smith, Minister Randy from the Nation of Islam, Sister Virginia. We have Professor Jermadari, Professor Tony Vandermeer, Vice Chancellor Charlie Titus. We're gonna also Charlie Cofield. We have a group, and we have some young folks, James Mackey, Carrie Mays. I mean, these people are amazing, and we have been having some really good dialogue. Our next meeting is December the 1st at the DeWitt Center, which is at 122 DeWitt Drive. If you have any information you want to attend, just give me a call. We started out, we reached out to 65 leaders. Now we're up to 100 because I forgot folks. But listen, it's a new day. It's a new day. Things in 2023, we gonna have to do something different. And so I'm excited. I'm happy about it because I see the community coming together. You know, I see us. Last night we were on a Zoom with Nick Vance. He hosted. We had David Halbert, Senator Diane Wilkerson, Tanisha Sullivan, and Jimmy Hills. And it was a very good conversation because they were the panel. They were talking about, you know, this election and this past election and how things, went, and, you know, how we can have more political power in this city. The first thing we have to do is we have to come together for a real healing. We have to have a reconciliation. We have to have a forgiveness tour, for lack of a better word. But there are some people, we know that this election here, especially the Senate race, it was hard for the second Suffolk. But we also know that we now have a woman governor, a woman lieutenant governor, and we have a woman, first black woman attorney general, Andrea Campbell, and I want to congratulate her. And so I'm excited about 2023 because, trust me, we're going to be holding you all accountable. So with the redistricting, I haven't seen the new maps, but I bet you there are going to be a lot of people running for office, city councilors at large, because as I watched the process of redistricting, and I was in some of those meetings, some of our city councilors just need to go. They need to be out. They need to be removed. And the only way we're going to do it is if we come up and work together as the black community. Black, B-L-A-C-K, black community. And so we have questions, we're putting our agenda together. We're working on it. And I always say if you don't know where you've been, you don't know where you're going. And so to have Professor Dermodari and Professor Vandermeer be a part of this, as well as our good old buddy, my favorite city councilor, Councilor Yancey. I tell you, I was so happy to see him on our steering committee Monday, because these are our historians. We need to be building an institution so that when our folks leave office, they have somewhere to go. UMass, the Africana Study Program that has been around for almost 50 years, they are now trying to get rid of it. I mean, really? And so we all the alumni that went to UMass, reach out to Professor Dermodari and reach out to Professor Vandermeer. We cannot let them close down the Africana Studies. We can't do that. And they're also talking about tearing down getting rid of the Trotter Institute. You know how much research and work has went into the Trotter Institute? What is going on in Boston? Really? Someone call me. Give me a call. Let's talk. Because clearly it's a new day. And it's time for us to make some changes in the way that we operate with each other. And so that's what we have to do. We have to look at the man in the mirror. We have to look at ourselves and say, am I part of the solution or am I part of the problem? And I think there was I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Kevin Peterson back in the day started a organization called Part of the Solution, which we were doing voter registration, get out the vote type stuff. So I'm excited because there's a lot of things that's going on. There's a lot of things that's going to be happening. We as black people, we have been used, abused, and confused for far too long. We still dealing with that Willie Lynch syndrome, and we're still dealing with the little backstabbers, the ones that are still making them backdoor deals. We're still dealing with envy and egos, and I think we all got egos. But there's a way that we can come together, people, and do some really good work in our community for us, by us. And so I just I encourage everybody to get involved. Know your city councilor. Know your state rep. When you have an issue in the city, don't just call your district. Call your district city councilor and all 4 at large, okay? Because they represent the entire city of Boston. So our at large city councilors are Mike Flaherty, Erin Murphy, Rootsy, I can't pronounce her last name, but y'all know her, and Erin Murphy. Those are our at-large city councilors. Okay, I'm going to try to go through the districts now. So District 1, that's East Boston, Charlestown, and the North End. And I believe her name, because I've only seen her or met her one time while I've only seen her during the redistricting. I can't remember her name. I'm so sorry. I can't remember her name. So if anybody knows who the city councilor is for District 1, please give me a call and let me know her name. District 2 is Ed Flynn. Okay, Ray Flynn's son. Okay. District 3 is Frank Baker. Everybody know the little short man named Frank Baker. Okay. District 4 is Brian Worrell. District 5 is Ricardo Aurora. District 6 is Kendra Lara. District 7 is Tanya Fernandez Anderson. District 8 is Mackenzie Bach. And District 9 is Leah Brennan. Those are your city councilors. So if you live in their district, but now wait, because they done redistrict. So now there's going to be some folks moving. The people aren't going to move, but the district lines are going to move. So it's very important because some of you all may want to run against some of these folks. Okay. So, I'm happy to be here today. I'm so glad my pastor's back from vacation. And the woman that is training me is Renee, our station manager. And so I'm just happy to be on this side because I did take a course at BNN and I am a producer, although I haven't produced anything yet, but I'm learning. We as Black Boston, we have to start telling our own stories. We have to be our own media because a lot of the folks that are out there, the media, it's not about us. They don't care anything about us. They give us a 2-minute soundbite, if that. Here on Boston Praise Radio and TV and Boston Black News and 102.9 FM, you get an opportunity to call in and talk about your issues, what's going on in your hood, what's going on in the city. Why is first of all, so let me tell you about this meeting I heard about with so we know that the police force has went down. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they're down 200 or 300 police officers. So of course they don't have enough police officers to do these details. So they were talking about bringing in regular citizens, or returning citizens, or people who are looking for jobs to stand there while the construction is going on to make sure that people get, across the street you see what they do, but a lot of times they just, they're on their phone, they're talking, and police officers make good money. So, they wanted to have a conversation about bringing in just normal everyday people to be at these construction sites. And from what I understand, they had 200 police officers show up at the Bruce Bowling at this hearing that nobody knew about, but I guess the police officers and the city councilors that held the meeting. And I guess they came in there to intimidate the city councilors. I mean, if you don't have enough police officers, and that work as a crossing guard, because that's basically what it is. Why can't you let people do it that are returning citizens? What is the issue? Also, I want to let everybody know on Monday, the 21st, at 2 p.m., there will be the biannual meeting of the Boston Resident Job Policy. It's going to be a virtual meeting, and I'm telling you, they're getting worse. They really are. You may not know, but I am a commissioner on the on the Boston Employment Commission, and what we do is we look at the development that's going on in this city, and we are trying to work with these developers and contractors to make sure that they're in compliance. They need to have 51% Boston residents, 40% people of color, and 12% females on these construction jobs. And I know because the organization that I worked with, BG, and the Boston Jobs Coalition, together we work with Carolyn Crockett, John Barrows, and that administration to change the policy in 2017, because it was 50% Boston residents, 25% people of color, and 10% females. And even though we did that in 2017, it just appears that they don't care. They still not going to enforce it. However, come December, some folks are going to get fined for non-compliance. So what happened when we rewrote or updated the original ordinance, which was actually signed into office in 1980, signed as an ordinance in 1986 by Mayor Ray Flint, and I can't remember them ever enforcing it by sanctioning these developers and contractors who are out of compliance. And so, but we're going to be able to sanction some folks. So we're having this hearing on Monday, and basically they invite the Boston Employment Commissioners to the meeting. They invite the Boston Resident Job Policy Office, that's the administration, and they invite the community and contractors and union people. And so it's going to be pretty interesting on Monday. So I would advise you to listen in. We can now go to city council hearings by way of our computer or by way of our television. So we need to either be watching it and live on the air, or we can't go in because it's virtual. However, wake up, Boston. Wake up. Now is our time that we can really get some things that are owed to us. There's a conversation around the reparations. I want to ask a question. Did we not vote for an elected school committee? Yes, we did. However, our mayor wants to make it hybrid. But that's not what we voted for, Mayor Wu. We voted for an elected school committee. So if 65, 75, 85% of the city residents say they want an elected school committee. Why do you want to make it hybrid? So that's a question. So I'm working on getting our mayor, our new governor, because she promised she was going to come onto the show after she got elected, and our new attorney general to, come on in to Boston Black News, and let's talk, because we have questions to ask you all. We have a black agenda, and we're working on it. But let me tell you about the meeting tonight. So, like I said, our new group is called the Black Local Organizing Committee. And right now we have close to about 100 members already. And we've only been doing this for about 4 weeks. So, but there's a meeting tonight that we don't know who really putting it together, because it's called the Boston Black Agenda Project. And they're having their meeting tonight at 5:30. We normally have our meetings on Thursdays at 6. And so the flyer was sent out, everybody's asking everybody, is it this person? Is it that person? Because we know that we've been talking about a Boston Black Agenda. Whoever these folks are saying they've been doing this for a year, meeting for a year. I'm like, this group has been meeting for a year, and none of the leaders in this room know anything about it. Something's up. So some of us will be going to this meeting to find out exactly what's going on. And, we do have a feeling what's going on, but we don't want to say nothing until we go to the meeting. So we're going to go to the meeting, and tomorrow on Boston Black News, I'm going to call my friend Ron Bell and talk to him about the meeting. So, what say you, Boston? Call in. I guess they don't like me on this side of the camera, huh, Pastor? So, Pastor, how was your vacation? Say hi or something.
Great. Wonderful.
Come on, Pastor, talk to me. You got me here talking to myself.
No, you're not talking to yourself. You're talking to a lot of people.
Okay.
And a lot of people are sitting and they're listening. And of course they can't hear me because my microphone is not on.
Well, turn your microphone on.
I can't turn it on from here. It has to be turned on by the person controlling the board.
Okay, so are you number 2, 3, or 4?
I'm number 6 if I'm correct.
Thank you. Okay.
You have to bring my volume up because I'm a professional at doing this, and I don't take people half-stepping when I'm on the air. You hear what I'm saying? So what was the question?
I forgot.
I want to know why. I want to know why there are so many meetings in our community, and a lot of us are really focusing on the same things. What's going on with that? How can people dot from one meeting to the next meeting to the next meeting to the next? When are we going to have what former Senator Diane Wilkerson had, a black agenda meeting once a year where we all come together and we address these issues?
Because we can't wait to do it once a year, and it's pressing. We got we still have a new mayor that she's 1 year in. Okay. We're getting ready to get a new governor, a new lieutenant governor, a new attorney general.
Right.
So did you know the attorney general office has over 600 employees?
I heard that.
Mm-hmm.
And are we trying to control some of the people?
It would be nice for us to be able to say, because I know they're going to be having jobs and stuff, right?
Right.
So we need to know what jobs are opening, because we know our folks need jobs.
Right.
So
we're going to need to be able to see all of those postings when they're done.
Mm-hmm. When they come out.
Once they're finally in office,
mm-hmm.
we'll see all the postings, the job postings. Somebody, that needs to be a group that's focusing on that and helping to give us the information.
That's right.
But there also needs to be meetings with these new elected officials.
Definitely.
With a stated agenda. We're going to be watching you. This is why we elected you to be in office. Mm-hmm. And by the way, what kind of jobs do you have?
Right, because we got a lot of folks. There's 600 jobs. in the Attorney General's office alone.
Right.
And I don't know how many the state has, but everybody gets to bring in their own people. Okay, so Mara Haley gets to bring in her cabinet staff.
Right,
and I'm hoping to see some black people on her cabinet, because Baker don't have not a one.
Well, you have a relationship with Mara Haley, governor-elect. You have a relationship with her. It would be great if you can get her back
On the show.
onto the broadcast, where you begin to ask some of these questions, but not ask the kind of questions that are going to make her say, "I'm never going back there again." We want to be able to have her
A dialogue with her,
Right.
and as well as Andrea Campbell. I have a
Right.
relationship with her too.
right.
And so I'm going to be reaching out to them, asking them to come on the show.
Now,
I'm going to have to do it on maybe a Friday, though, because I want to do the drive time. I don't want to do it on People Power with Priscilla.
I think it would be very interesting to have small committees out of the group that you're meeting with
That's exactly what we're
that
planning
will
on.
go to these elected officials and be the liaison to talk with them about all these agenda issues. I think you have a phone call.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air. People Power with Priscilla. We the people. We have the power.
Peace. Good morning. This is Jamal calling.
Hey, Jamal. How you doing?
All right. How y'all doing?
We good. We good.
All right. So, in terms about, why there are all these different meetings and whatnot, it's simple. And this is really part of the problem. And this is why I've stayed out of the process. It's because people have now realized that these things garner attention. They garner, in some cases, money. And folks are scrambling to now become leaders and put themselves in the forefront, all of which is fine. We need new leaders. Every generation needs new leaders.
Mm-hmm.
But, however, if you send your kid to school and they're learning geology, don't you want the teacher to have a mastery of the subject?
Of course.
So, what we have here is people talking about reparations who have not been students or participants of the reparations movement. Reparations is a subject or an issue, and this leads to confusion and allows the opportunity for different people to pop up and say, hey, I'm the reparations expert, and people get led astray. And some people who earnestly say that they're seeking information and they're really concerned with reparations, I did a quick and simple thing. Provided some information that I know on reliable sources. You think people are beating the path down to, they say that they care about reparations. It's like people say that they love the Patriots. If I had the opportunity for people to meet Tom Brady, my phone would be ringing off the hook, right? So here in the reparations movement, if I have a secret access to some information that is not commonly available, and it's like, here, you say you care about this, here's this information, people don't even want the information. So now we've done this with reparations. We've done this now with the Black Agenda thing. And, I mean, for anybody who drives through Grove Hall, you see on the doggone billboard thing over there, you see two things. You see Blackstonian, you see Boston Black Agenda. So it ain't like that this idea has not been around or whatever. Whoever these people are, it's not like it's a trademark thing or whatever. I just am concerned because people are talking about agenda, and A, it doesn't seem that they have one. B, that they're not working with any of the known entities or following the history of Black Agenda that has been done before nationally here in Boston with Senator Bill Owens. And as you say, nobody knows who these people are. I know I'm curious, but I'm not curious enough that I'm going to go to the meeting.
Oh, well, I am.
It's just a shame. And at some point, I'd like to have a conversation with them people.
Mm-hmm.
If I can dissuade them from using that term, great.
Right.
But at the end of the day, though, what am I do? Fight somebody in the street?
Right. No, because when I sent out the email, and you responded and you said that you did not want us to use that name, we created another one. That's all. It wasn't no issue, And so, and so now we're the Black Local Organizing Committee. However, Jamal, it just seems like, people are trying to co-opt different things, And that's why I'm so glad that Professor Dermadari and Professor Vandermeer and Counselor Yancey are part of this, because they have the history. I'm telling you, sitting in that meeting last Wednesday with them, listening to them, it was, I mean, people were coming out there saying, wow, I didn't know this. Wow, I didn't know that. And they went back to like when the first convention, I think it was in 1972, when it was a statewide, nationwide. They started off.
Who started it off?
I said that's where that's, you know.
Oh, exactly right. One of my mentors, Amiri Baraka, great poet, great activist. He was, critical in that, along with some of the black political forces from across the country, many of whom I call mentors and elders. Unfortunately, the problem that happens in Boston, too, is oftentimes people lionize themselves. And so oftentimes I believe what we have to deal with is we have a cadre of people who assert themselves in leadership positions or in teaching positions, but these people are not good people. And so we also have to look at the character of some of these people. A lot of these people have caused damage in the community. They've threatened people. They've, scammed people, and these are just not good people. So, oftentimes, once again, for me, I can't be sitting on a mountain, yelling out about this one and that one. So I just choose to pull myself out of the thing. I know Professor Jemadari is very knowledgeable. I know Charles Yancey is very knowledgeable. The other person you mentioned, I do not really have the same trust and faith in either his knowledge base nor his motivations. But
have you heard what's going on at the African Studies at UMass?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't, I sit on a committee with Professor Dermadari, and they have went from 7 full-time faculty members to 1. Okay.
Well, that's another issue. I mean, that's
yeah,
another
that is
issue.
another issue. But I'm just
and I know, for instance, one of the things that I'm concerned about with that is that a circular figure in that is the person who you mentioned, who is a figure in that, where now the rally is the call that this person must be tenured. Now, I don't know what the rules of tenure are, but somebody needs to look into that, because I'm not really, you know what I mean? These things, once again, have a tendency. Are Africana studies under attack? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Across the country, since
Yes.
Black studies or African studies was since its inception, it's always been a struggle. Universities largely don't want it. But unfortunately, in this city, we have some things where sometimes there could be an actual valid issue, but people will use it and pivot it and manipulate it and turn it into something that works for their own personal benefit. So you just got to be careful of that.
Well, I understand. I totally agree, because as I watch people move throughout this city, we got issues. We do. We got, that's why I say we need to have some type of healing, some type of, event where we could come together, because we need to air out our differences. We do. We need to. Go ahead.
Priscilla, and that's the part.
What?
At least I can't speak for the women. But for the men, this is the part that really disgusts me about some of these quote-unquote grown men. Some of them who act like they're tough, some of them who claim that they're men of God or whatnot. But, man, you would think, you got garlic for a vampire for these people just to have a conversation. Because I've been clear. I responded to the emails. For instance, in your group, there's a young gentleman there who's, now pushing himself on the leadership forefront. This dude been avoiding a conversation with me for 3 years. This dude was in the ilks of them people who were threatening against my life. And so what you think, we're going to work together and never discuss that? Huh?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. There needs to be some type of reconciliation among our black people. Because, Jamal, I believe...
Nobody wants it. Nobody wants it in real life. Everybody talks about accountability and transparency, but it's a vicious lie. The main ones who say it the most are the ones who are afraid of it. I can go anywhere. I mean, most of y'all are a witness to it. I've spoken about my downfalls in life. It's part of my story. It's no problem. Those aren't the people I'm worried about. I'm worried about the ones who act as if they are saints when they are conducting themselves either motivated by ego or money, and along the way they've hurt people, they've abused women, or taken advantage of relationships, or they've stolen money, or all manner of horrible thing, and yet they still want to appear as if they are these moral pillars and leaders of the community. And until we get past that, people are like, hey, how come you won't go in a meeting with so and so?
Well, you know what? You know what? I mean, everybody don't have to be at the meeting, you know. But if you're out here doing work, you're out here doing work. Your work should speak for itself.
But some people shouldn't be doing the work. Okay, so for instance, I won't mention the name. A person came to me a while ago and said, hey, I want to start this program for kids, and asked me for my support. And I was like, no. And then, after a while, I was like, well, why won't you support that, man? I just want to work with kids. Bruh, because you shouldn't be around kids. Okay?
That's sad.
So that's the thing. When I'm talking about leadership, if you're doing the work or whatnot, but if you were doing the work and it is motivated from a foul place, either the money or whatever, that's fraud work. And we just had a glaring example of that, but, how quickly we forget. People will talk a big game and tell you that they're doing this in the name of for you, or for the black people, for Africa, for God, and they're lying. You know what I mean? So we have to be careful of that. And once again, particularly in our community, where you have, you have an issue of violence. Some of the people who are trying to champion themselves as, working on the issue of violence, they themselves have committed violence. Or in the case of me, with all the stuff that I've dealt with, people have threatened me with violence. And these are the people talking about they want to talk to the young men. So once again, it does not make sense. I'll give you a great example, too. And I don't mind saying this publicly. Reverend Willie Broderick. I'll make a public call now, because this has been a while. Been trying to get a meeting, have a conversation. Another person who's been avoiding a conversation with me for 3 years. I'm only a child of 12 Baptist Church. So what is it that people are so afraid of talking to me about, when they openly have, associated themselves with some very bad people, but they don't want to talk to me. You know what the difference is? Because they don't want to deal with truth, accountability, and they don't want to talk to somebody who knows history, has a track record, and a memory like an elephant. That's what they don't want to be confronted with the truth.
Hold on, Jamal. We got a caller. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. People Power with Priscilla. We are the people. We have the power. Good morning.
Good morning, sis. How are you doing? Good morning, big bro. You know what, man? Listen, my plate is just, it's run this over. I got so much stuff on my plate. But you know what, big bro? I just want to say, you know what? You hit the nail on the coffin. Because folks, you're not going to have a conversation with folks when they know it's the truth. This is just our community. Well, this is the world period. Even with the Kyrie incident, listen, you only get mad about the truth. Because if you're not coming out and saying, okay, you know what, no, that's false, then it's the truth. The truth will hurt, and folks don't want to deal with the truth. I agree with Jamal. If you have beef with somebody and you know that you was wrong, what's so hard about you having that conversation and then saying, you know what, I apologize? What's the point of you saying, okay, you know what, you're doing this, you're doing that? What it is some of these folks put a shield on in church. Then once they step out of church, they take that shield off. So it's like it's a different person that you're, dealing with. If you're supposed to be in the body of Christ, then be in the body of Christ. Don't be that cancer that entered the body of Christ. What's wrong? If you was man enough to, to disgrade him, to talk about him, to put him down, to say he don't know what he's talking about, and blah, 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 then be a man to say, okay, you know what? And, the same form that you deliver, falseness, it should be the same form that you deliver the truth. to apologize. So if you went publicly and defame him, come publicly and apologize. Don't do it behind closed doors. Don't do it, just you and him, because it wasn't you and him when you defamed him, when you put, tarnished his name, when you did all this other stuff. So be a man about it. So that's the only way that, we're going to be able to move on. Because, when some folks, they'll come to you and they'll say, yeah, I apologize, blah, 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 but then they turn around, go back publicly, and just start dogging you again. So that way folks can see, okay, listen, bro, you just apologize to this man. So why are you out here dogging him now? So who is? You know what? Who are you?
I agree.
And those are the folks that are destroying our community. I'm tired of going to meetings and sitting in rooms where folks, only thing they want to do is say, okay, yeah, I called the meeting, I did this, I did that. For what? Okay, you called the meeting. Okay, you know what? Listen, and that's, I told a couple of church folks this. I'm like, you know what? I said, the devil have y'all pride so caught up that y'all don't want to even march with brothers who are out here in the streets, trying to make a difference, out here just marching on their own, going into these communities because they're from a different religion. Tell me in the Bible where religion plays a part in all this.
It doesn't. I don't even know if the word religion is even in the Bible.
It's not in the Bible. That's the whole thing. That's my whole thing. So why are you following religion if it's not even God's word? That's what I keep telling them. If they keep saying this is God's word in the book, this is God's word, well then go by his words. Why are you using man's words, to try to, incorporate all that into God's words? Why? You are what you are. You know what I'm saying? If you believe in God, then believe in God. Do God's work. That's just the bottom line. Because if I have a problem with somebody, and and I come on this radio station and go, blah, 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 and then I get put out like, okay, no, but you're false, blah, blah, blah. I'm coming back on People Power with Priscilla, and hopefully that person come on and say, you know what, brother, I apologize humbly, for what I did. Yeah. Bottom line.
All right. Jamal, you still there? He hung up. Thank you, Terrence.
I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
But there is an issue. There is an issue. We know who some of the bad apples are. Okay. However, they project themselves as our leaders, and I think that I read a book by John Maxwell. Talked about leaders, and they said if you're a leader and you don't have no one following you, you're just taking a walk. And that's how some of these folks are in our community. They're just taking walks. I know that there's a lot of groups popping up, there's a lot of things going on. But the reason why we started this new organization was because there wasn't really no one doing what we're trying to do. And that's bring community together, reconcile our community, but create some political power. And so, yeah, we do have people at our, in our community, that we do have people, black folks on the city council now. We do have more than one black woman in the state house now. However, we're still battling with each other, and we need to stop that because we are getting older. I'm an OG, okay, and so I'm tired of fighting with my community. I'm tired of fighting with the people that supposedly say that they love me and they care about what's going on. So it to me, I just want us, and it's going to be hard, but I think it's something that we need to do. I think we need to plan to have some type of reconciliation, some type of fellowship. And I know Jamal, he don't like to be in the crowds and all that, but we need to be able to confront what's going on. We need to be able to call it out, talk about it, yell, scream, whatever we got to do, and then come back and say, I forgive you. I'm sorry, we gotta mend ourselves, because if we don't, we're not gonna never get what we need. Because trust me, when the white men go in there in them rooms, and women go in them rooms, and they stop, talking and fighting and making their deals and stuff, they all come back out with the same agenda, and that's one thing that we don't seem to do. I think I have another call. Is there another call? No. Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
So not for nothing. I mean, certainly. I mean, when I don't come to meetings a lot, it's not because I don't care for crowds or whatever. It's just because I've been, like you,
a lot,
hundreds of thousands over the years. And when I look back at assessing my life about what moves me forward and what doesn't, I there were exercises that I was doing that when I didn't see the results I want, I'm like, okay, I ain't doing that exercise no more. I got to find a new one that achieves the desired results. So for me, that's what meetings are, and I have to choose wisely for my time, just for my own sanity. You know what I mean? I just can't be running around at all this. Now, I would definitely come to a reconciliation meeting. Maybe Pastor Wall remembers. But back when the BMA and the 10 Point was more active and having the meetings in the Greg Gruber's church, Charles Street AME, I was at every meeting, and this is the type of thing I've been begging for literally over almost close to 2 decades now, right? Talking about reconciliation, because to me, people talk about why can't we have unity? I told you I believe unity is a false concept, but why can't we get closer to it? Is because of this reason. You can't just expect people to work together with people who they don't trust or with there's fundamental reasons. You can't take a dude like me from the hood, black revolutionary, black nationalist, Pan-Africanist, and tell them they have to work with somebody who, has conspired with others, who like death threats or some of these people who have molested or been in situations with children, or some of these people who are rapists or women beaters. Like that's a bridge too far. I never go into a line with those people that I'm morally opposed to. We're on the opposite sides of the spectrum. So the problem is, until the general public gets up to that level of knowledge, because see, a lot of y'all following people or you're cool with people because you don't know their past. Right? If you found out,
but I'm finding out some stuff.
Well,
I'm finding out some stuff. I'm telling you, it ain't nice. But
here's a good rule of thumb. When these people pop up, and if you don't know them, hey, Google them. Google is your friend. Okay?
But
Google them. Google their name.
But some folks, you do know them. You have worked with them in the past, but you may not know everything that they've done. So Google would help.
Yeah, Google will help. I mean, that at least show you the criminal stuff, or get you on the track of, if this person is, anti-women or been funny with the money or, any of these type of things. Also, too, sometimes you could see a track record of what people have organized about. And there are some people who, when you see what they've organized about, they've never organized for a thing at which they were not at the center. So it'll be like, let's say, stop police brutality because I was brutalized, right? Stop crime in the neighborhood because my wallet got taken. You see what I'm saying? So these are people who, even when they are attacking real issues, crime or whatever it is, they still are inserting themselves. And you'll see that these people have a track record of nothing, dealing with nothing at which they are not the center of. So those are just a couple of things of how you could do fraud detection and whatnot. And another thing, too, is just telling of how these people deal with women and children. So you have a lot of these people who have a list of women who they've, and not when I'm not just talking about relationship stuff, but I'm just talking about blatant disrespect or just, whatever. They're those guys. So people just need to be, more cognizant. I know the way that I have chosen my powers of discernment, but I can't just give that to everybody. People got to do their own research.
I hear you. And we are winding down on our time. I can't believe it's almost been an hour we've been talking. But I appreciate you, Jamal, for the work that you do in the community. And I appreciate you as well, Terrence, because I know the work that that you all have done. And Terrence, you and I have been working together for like the last 12 years, I think, you know? And so it's just, we have to have a reconciliation. We have to. We have to, because that's the only way we're going to move forward. We have to, you know, we may have to almost go to blows, but we have to let people know exactly how they are hurting our community, how they have hurt us, and we need to move forward, because I believe that we all want the same thing. I believe that we want to stop burying our children. I believe that we want to continue to live in Boston where we were born and raised. I believe we want good jobs, good construction jobs. I believe we want procurement. I believe we want a great education for our children. I believe we want good police accountability. I believe all of us want the same thing. It's just we go different ways and to get it. And we need to come together. We need to come together and do it. And so I'm not saying everybody got to be in every meeting, because everybody can't be in every meeting. But it's like when we form, we come up with, okay, this is your lane. Then you head up this committee. This is your lane. You head up that committee. This is real. This is no joke. Time is running out, and so we got to do it, and we got to be about it, and we have to learn how to forgive people who have wronged us. The Bible talks about forgiveness, and we can't expect to be forgiven if we can't forgive our brother or our sister. And I know, people have been hurt. I've been hurt. We've all been hurt in some form or fashion. But we have to let it go, because we're fighting for our children and our children's children. Jamal, I heard you say your daughter's like 20-something now?
About to be 25.
Yeah. So you're not fighting for you. You're fighting for her and her children. Terrence, your daughter, she's over there playing basketball in was it Italy?
Yeah, well, she's back. She's in Phoenix now.
Okay. And I hear you talk about what you did with your children, how you helped them, And so we have to think about our children's children. I don't have any children, but I feel like all these young folks that I have worked with, I have mentored over the years, I feel like they are my children. I have a lot of nieces and nephews. I have a lot of people call me auntie, even though I'm not their aunt. But it's just a matter of us coming together and helping one another. We got to learn how to love.
Priscilla, that's exactly the lens that I use. And when I think about it, because a lot of these so-called leaders in Boston, I would not let them be around my daughter for a second.
Yeah. I hear you. We have another call? Oh, I got to wrap up. I'm out of time. Listen, I'll be here next week. Same time, same channel. People Power with Priscilla. Thank you, brothers, for coming. Coming on the air. You'll be seeing me on this side of the aisle now, but I will be having guests. So it's gonna get better, y'all. It's gonna get better. We are the people. We have the power. I appreciate both of you, brothers. I thank you all, and we'll have a blessed day. And by the way, there is a meeting at the Bruce Bowling Building at 11 a.m. So if you wanna come down there and check it out, so.